for about a few nights after that, I would shut my door because I started to feel like someone was watching me in my window, my door, excuse me. And I felt like someone was staring at me while I slept. And so I'd shut my door. And then one night I woke up to my mom yelling for my dad. My mom was going around making noise and yelling at my sister. And I woke up, I felt like there was static in the air, and I heard a crash. And I got out of my bed and I walked out into the kitchen, and my mom's little cobalt blue flower candle holder that was on top of the refrigerator, in the middle of the refrigerator, was on the other side of the kitchen floor. And my mom was just standing there, and she looked at my sister and she said, "Something just threw my candle holder at me." And we just looked at each other. That's when my mom started to read up on how to get an entity out of the house. Because after that night, it started to get more violent. At this point, my sister was very pregnant, and she was about 8 months along. And that's when we noticed that there was something squatting in a corner in my sister's room. And it would walk up to her and shake her bed. And it would try to scare her. So my mom started to put salt down, and on all of our windows, on all of the doors, everywhere, she started to put salt down. But for a long time, nothing worked. It was there. That was until we had confided in a friend. She was a friend who my mom met there in New Hampshire. She worked with other people who had similar problems in their houses. And she offered my mom a bit of advice on how to cleanse the house and what to use. And my mom went in and started to cleanse the house. And that's when my sister really ended up with the trouble. I started to follow her around outside the house. Wouldn't leave the yard, but it would follow her around. It started to actually say things. The one thing we actually got out of it first was get out. So my mom called the landlord to ask them what had happened and why we're dealing with this, and come to find out, a young man had killed himself in the living room of the apartment. And that they had never fully cleaned the floor. And so we had a big stain in the middle of the living room floor where his blood was. We had a big stain where his blood was, and without knowing it, we had riled up or made this spirit of this young man angry, and he progressively got more violent as he went along. He started to move more things. We would find the chairs to the dining room table moved where we didn't put them. Nothing got stacked, but they got moved. When my sister had her daughter, my niece, we would find him in a corner watching her. And afraid for her, we started to have somebody come down and constantly be there and watch just in case. After that, we moved. We couldn't deal with constantly wondering if he was going to start throwing things at my niece and harming her. So we left there, and we didn't pay the last month's rent.
To get this story correct, this was a man that was a very aggressive entity, a little bit of poltergeist activity.
Yeah.
Had a very evil side.
Yeah.
And attachment, if you will.
Yeah, to the apartment.
I don't blame you for not paying last month's rent.
No, we weren't told. They did not tell us about him committing suicide in the apartment. We didn't feel like, especially my parents, did not feel like they should have to take responsibility for that and the damages to our things.
Usually that question never gets brought up when someone's being shown a house. Is it haunted? Is there anybody that has died in this facility, or this building, or this house?
I believe that it should be. And by law, I think that they have to tell you whether or not someone has died in the apartment.
Well, I think that's about wrapping up here. This has been an episode of Ghost Stories. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Please subscribe to the Plumcraft channel. Please hit that notification bell. And thank you for watching. Leave a comment. Bye!